Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel Macro Mondays. Every Monday. Hope you guys are all doing well. We're going to have a look at a couple things today, including the August outlook. Personally, I do have a bullish outlook on August. Sorry, something just popped up there that I had to have a look at. Yeah, so for now, a lot of volatility at the moment, lots of volatility in the space. You can see over here, coins are up on the daily time frame, down on the weekly time frame quite a bit, but it's basically just been a lot of chopping, guys. Month is up, week is down, daily's up, hourly's down, and that's basically the final stages of the crypto market in a nutshell, guys. It's going to be extremely volatile. It's going to be extremely hard to sell tokens. It's going to be very fast paced. And it's definitely not a time to switch off, guys. It's definitely a time to wake up and be present and make the most of this final stage of the crypto market, guys. It's going to be volatile. It's going to be hectic, but it is going to be fun, guys. So let's get straight into the show. Of course, guys, lots of volatility around there today. Coins up, coins down. Toncoin down 7%. Just obviously had a nice little weekend move, I do believe. Let's go straight into Bitcoin, guys. I got into some longs over the weekend, guys. We spoke about this on Friday. We spoke about this level over here between the 50% level and the 382 Fibonacci, and also the 50-day EMA coming over there at about that 113K region. It also lined up perfectly with this old top over here. This old top is coming in at 11,000, basically 112K, right? And this came down perfectly to that 112K region over there. Looks quite similar to that move that we saw earlier. I think it was actually last year, even when we came down and we touched this old top to the absolute dollar over there. It reminds me of that moment over there. Obviously a lot shorter lived, and it happened earlier than a year. But guys, super solid bounce over here off the 50-day EMA. Of course, this was some weekend price action, and you could obviously take it with a pinch of salt. So this was an obvious buy, in my opinion. I did get into, I doubled down on my Bitcoin trade. You guys know I was in from 112. I was in from 102, sorry. This candle over here got into that 102K over there. This was the move. Didn't take any profits yet. Still targeting the 135K. Then, of course, doubled down into the zone over here. And currently, my average purchase price is 107K. So this is what the trade's looking like. Of course, stop at break even or at that 105K level over there. Very little risk here, but I do have a massive position now. Of course, doubling down with leverage does create a massive position. Maybe we do come lower, but if you are in this trade with me, then I would say your invalidation point is that 105K level. But if you want to put your stop at break even, depends how big you've gone into on this. You can do that as well. But basically getting a bounce off the 50-day EMA, off this old all-time high over here, reclaiming the 382. Let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens. Very volatile. Solana, of course, not looking too good with this move to the downside, coming underneath the 50% level and getting now rejected off the 50% level and 50-day EMA. This isn't a good sign, guys. What you want to see as a Solana bull is a desperate reclaim of the zone, guys. We want to see price trading above, that $166 over there. It would be better above the $169, $170 region for Solana. This is where you want to see it trading, guys. This is not a good sign over here. Of course, I'm still in that Solana long. From the breakout and retest over here. This was a great trade. It came very close to TP1. I didn't actually get out, guys. My TP was $207 and we came to 206. Of course, it was a limit order, so that didn't get filled. And this happens very fast, guys. In the blow-off moves, those parabolic moves, things do happen quite fast. A little bit disappointed to not bail out of this over here, but of course, up and then the next day straight down. This was a telltale sign. Looking back from now, of course, bearish candle over there engulfing the whole move up. Yeah, but let's see, guys, still in this trade, stop at break even, so there's no risk holding this trade. But still in the trade, guys. ETH getting a lovely bounce off this 3,300 zone over here. I had this 3,300, had some orders placed there, but it didn't come down there. It came to 3,350. And I really like this bounce, guys. I'm going to zoom out on ETH and I'm going to show you guys, of course. So what you can see here is we had the March top and we had this May top over here. And if we extended that down, of course, we had that fake out and the rejection off that point over there. And it looks like this is the main line to be tracking over here, because it looks like we got a, we broke out and then got a perfect retest to the upside. What you can see over here, we broke out, got the retest, and then failed and ultimately closed below this point over here. So what I would be looking at, guys, is I would be very bullish on Ethereum if Ethereum can hold that $3,300 region, guys. So if we can hold this level as support, I would be very happy. If ETH starts to, get underneath the zone over here, get underneath the 50-day EMA, this is going to be looking dodgy, and this is going to be our signal to bail. Okay, big signal to bail. Would be comfortably happy to get out of my position if we start to lose at 3,300. It's going to be looking a little bit. Maybe we don't come and take out these lows over here, of course, but it will be taking Ethereum a longer time to hit that $4,000 and $5,000 targets that we do have. So we want to see it hold above this 3,300, find a good support there. It looks like we are finding support there. And guys, this is looking like a good trade still. We obviously took most of our chips off the table at that $3,800 region. This was a good trade. This was a high probability trade coming into this high probability resistance over there. ETH, BTC, guys, getting a nice little double retest of the zone, guys. We thought that we'd see some resistance over here. We slided straight through. We have tested this key level as support. And I think ETH, BTC is looking brilliant, guys. I'm bullish. That's why I'm bullish on altcoins, because, of course, we have had that correction. But we have to zoom out and compare it to Bitcoin and see, is this is the run over, or is this just a correction? And guys, in my opinion, was a great buying opportunity over the weekend. Why? Well, guys, the golden cross, the ETH BTC golden cross. If you guys watch my shows for the past few weeks, I would have been speaking about this golden cross, guys. When the golden cross is there, it is confirmed. Yes, we can have that move into the golden cross before a push to the upside, but it basically gives you a risk-on approach to the market. So this is basically the market telling you that things are looking good and bullish for the altcoin space. Of course, I can picture this chopping around here a bit, guys, a little bit. It doesn't always just go up. It actually mainly goes sideways. If you guys don't know that about markets, they mainly go sideways and then have quick moves up. So what you can see over here was we had, how many days sideways? 66 days sideways, and then 9 days up. What happened over here? Well, we had 30 days sideways and then 6 days up. So markets mainly go sideways and then they go up. And of course, it's just about, in that sideways period, choosing the direction correctly. That's all it really is, guys. And it's very silly to chase this pump. Of course, the pump happens, everyone gets excited, but what is most likely to follow is a sideways period, guys. This is where people who FOMO'd in, they get frustrated out of their positions. They're the impatient traders, guys. It's all about getting into the trade in the range, picking the direction correctly. And now what I can say with a little bit more confidence is the direction is going to trend to the upside, because we do have the golden cross, guys. The 50 above the 200-day EMA, we do have the golden cross. The trend and the breakout region should be towards the upside, guys. We're in a bull market at the moment. Higher highs and higher lows on the macro time frame. We have shifted the market structure to the upside, and things are looking good, guys. XRP getting a strong bounce. I didn't get into this, guys. I should have got into this. We spoke about this 50% level at $2.80 on Friday. I didn't get into it. We said, the 50% level along with the 50-day EMA created a very nice scenario here for a strong bounce. And what you can see, it looks like we are breaking this, this descending resistance. So here's the descending resistance over there. And it looks like we are, if we do close today's candle outside of this line, it's going to be looking like a good opportunity. So what I can see for XRP is potentially, coming up over here, maybe getting a rejection and coming down again. This is a great buying opportunity for XRP, guys. I think XRP is in a good position here. I do see higher XRP levels. I'm still in this XRP trade. We're still in the trade over here. Took half chips off the table over here. So I can get into this trade over here very comfortably. My average position might go up a little bit. But if we do get, multiple daily candles closed outside of the descending resistance, come down, get that retest again, I will most likely be going in on XRP, guys. XRP is looking good. So look at Bitcoin dominance, because we spoke about this guy's getting a rejection off the 200-day EMA as well. Looks like we came into this resistance zone for another rejection. And let's see, guys, the confirmation for, a parabolic altcoin move is going to be Bitcoin dominance closing below 60.34. So we said here, this is a high probability support zone. So we should see a move back into the EMA cluster, which is exactly what we saw here, guys. We didn't even get to the 50. But for now, we have seen that we are having a nice red day for Bitcoin dominance, expecting a lot of chop. And again, guys, we could just see a range form in the zone over here. So don't get too excited, guys. It could take a while. It could take, a few weeks in August before we do get the proper breakdown. But my direction is to the downside for Bitcoin dominance. I think it's time that the altcoins shine. It's taken a while. But the confirmation, again, guys, is going to be that golden cross. And ETH BTC golden cross, it's going to be, of course, the Bitcoin dominance death cross. This is lagging. I think the funds have rotated into ETH. We know how the cycles work. It goes Bitcoin, ETH, large caps, mid caps, small caps. So this is the ETH turn. It's ETH's time to shine. And the large caps and the mid caps might get some of the lights, the limelights, when this does cross to the downside. So there's a lot of time here, guys. I still have my targets at 52% and 43%. These are the macro targets, of course. Since it is macro Mondays, we can zoom out on the weekly and we can see there's still quite a while to go here, guys. Long way to go here, and very long way to go here. If your altcoins ripped from that 8%, sorry, not even there, 6% move to the downside, imagine what that 33% move is going to be for your altcoins. Most likely going to rip to the upside. USDT dominance over here came up and actually broke through that 4.4%. What we want to see now is price to be trading below the box. And that box is between that 4.4 and 4.36 over there. What we want to see is this reclaim below there, chop around here, and then continue to our range low zone at that 3.85. I think we could chop around here for a bit looking at the market, but this would be a nice place to take some chips off the table. USDC dominance, another rejection of descending resistance over here. Of course, 50-day EMA over there. Nothing bullish about this at all. This is bearish. This is why crypto is bullish at the moment. And if we had to invert the scale, I would be going long on this all day. So because we're going to invert the scale upside down, I would be going short on this all day. So that basically shorting stable coin dominance is, of course, longing crypto. So that's all we have to say, guys, about that. Total crypto market, strong bounce off the 50-day EMA. Let's see it get above there. We did see that little McDonald's M play out. If you guys don't know what the McDonald's M is, it's, of course, bang, McDonald's. Basically a double top coming down over there. Very obvious trade. Was, of course, breaking the neckline and coming down to the 50-day EMA. We didn't take that trade. We are swing traders. We're not scalp traders on this very channel. Total 3, getting that strong bounce off the 50. We spoke about the zone over here, guys, being a strong zone for a altcoin purchase, of course, being between 925 billion, 966 billion. This was a great buy zone. We did get in there, guys, and we are very happy with our longs. Some of our longs are actually a little bit underwater. We're going to go into those now because, you know, it is fine to be underwater for a bit. We're going to go into the trades and see exactly what is underwater. First of all, Ondo is definitely underwater. You know, came to the downside over there. We're still in the trade, of course, expecting this kind of, because we did take out this high, this top over here, expecting this to be a higher low. What I'd like to see for Ondo would be Ondo trading above the EMAs. That would be putting it in a much stronger position. Still bullish on this, guys. This came a little bit deeper than I thought. I thought we'd not find a solid support at the EMA cluster over there. But because in hindsight, you know, the golden cross isn't there. The 50 isn't above the 200. We could have been a little bit more cautious on this. But we're still in the trade, guys. And, you know, we're not crying because we're still in the trade. So look at Sui quickly. Sui basically at even here, down a little bit. I thought that this EMA also might hold the support. Still above this EMA over here. Still bullish in my opinion. And of course, you know, in this volatile environment, still making a higher high, which is exactly what you want to see. If you haven't taken this trade, you could easily take this trade now, even with more leverage or less risk. Up to you. What else did we long? Link must have, yeah, Link came down to our second buy order. So yeah, this is perfect. We bought here thinking that this support zone could hold before the next move up. And we had a second buy order in case we did get that move to the downside, which we did. We did buy the 16.2, which puts our average trade at exactly break even right now. So if you haven't taken the Link trade, you can take the Link trade now. Of course, stop at that $14.25 mark over there. ENA has been doing really well still in this trade over here. Looks like we just got the golden cross. So personally, I'm bullish on ENA. Nice bullish candle yesterday. Of course, we've been trading to the downside since the end of July. A few days down, but not the end of the world. So look at Uniswap. Nice. This is why I like to have a look at tokens that have had the golden cross or are trading above the important EMAs, because when they're trading above the important EMAs, when it moves to the downside and we are trading long, right, this is a place where you can expect a bounce. So here's a perfect example of a strong bounce off the 50-day EMA over there. So tokens that aren't trading above the important EMAs, you can be more hesitant to long these because they are actually stuck below the EMAs. A good example, I think, would be Filecoin. I'm expecting this to not be performing well at all. Yeah, here we go. So of course, Filecoin is stuck below the EMAs, so you can expect this to be a resistance. That is typically how it works. So look at Lido. We are in the Lido long. Oh, we almost got stopped out of that. Let's see. I think with ETH ripping and ETH BTC ripping, I do expect this to make a nice move to the upside. But you can be a bit more defensive on this trade, and you can be a little bit more conservative and not take the trade yet because we haven't had the golden cross. If you guys wait for the golden cross, it'll give you a lot more clarity and a lot more confidence with your entry. Of course, we don't take massive risky trades with big size when we aren't extremely sure, and we're only really sure when we do have that golden cross, guys. Okay, I'm going to go into some data quickly, have some fun over here. So fear and greed, what we did see was a nice reset to 53 on the fear and greed index. Of course, we're trading at greed and almost extreme greed, hitting that 80, 79 mark over there. Otherwise, we're just kind of oscillating at greed. It's nice to see a reset at 53 at neutral. So after a neutral reset, we can see a push to the upside. And sorry about all the ads. A green flag at the moment is, of course, the cryptocurrency monthly exchange volume over here. What we saw was July engulfing June to the upside, which means there was more volume in July, which means this typically happens when we see a nice move to the upside. So over here, you can see October, that 1.14 trillion. November, December followed two nice, and Jan, actually, these are all nice, great months for trading, more volume in the space. And what you can see is, it's actually in the way a lot here. July closed at Feb, okay? So it got above March, April, May, and June. These low volume periods of here typically lead to potential bottoms. So if we zoom out and go to the year to date, my bad, go to the all, what you can see is that when we do start to get an uptick in volume, we do see bullish movements in the crypto market. So what you can see here, guys, is that volume drops off, we get a nice engulfing candle, and then the markets move to the upside. Here, your daily exchange volume, nice to see this have a little push and break above that 60 billion. Now we are testing that as support. What you want to see is, if you had to draw a trend line to the downside over here, this is a breakout and a little retest over here. So definitely expecting some bullish movement in the crypto market. Let's go into the data for August. We did speak about July being potentially bullish, as it does have a bullish average over here. August, January flat. In fact, we've had 3 bearish Augusts in a row. So, maybe this is just a sideways month, or maybe potentially down. But when it is a bullish month, you can see over here, we had 3 in a row. Then we had a massive month over here. So maybe something like that can happen. That indeed was 8 years ago, which is 2 cycles ago, right? So this could line up to being actually a bullish August, but let's see. Quarterly returns, Q3 typically not very bullish. So maybe we do get a move up in August, which gets reversed in September. Who knows? Only time will tell. Let's have a look at Ethereum, actually. So Ethereum also bearish, 3 bearish in a row. And if we have a look at the quarterly returns for August, typically, okay. On average, it's okay. It's not extremely bullish. It's not bearish. It's okay. And what we saw last time, if you have a look at the pattern here, is 2 red over here, then 3 green. So these could be the 2 red over here, and then maybe followed by 3 greens over there. But we did get a nice healthy green one after the 2 reds. So this could typically be a decent quarter or run for Ethereum, which is exactly what the ETH BTC chart is saying. So ETH BTC chart is agreeing with the data. So let's see how it all plays out, guys. If we go into the macros quickly, won't be here for long, but we can see the DXY over here reclaim the 50-day EMA over here. It has had that move into the green box. We spoke about this move to the green box after the bullish divergence over here. You can see price falling lower, but RSI ticking up higher. We said this could be a bottom zone over here. We have had that push up into here, but it looks like it is hovering. We did see a nice rejection on Friday, but it has reclaimed the 50-day EMA. So let's see how it reacts. So we did say this is a high probability rejection zone. Of course, when you break the range low and retest it as resistance, you do expect this to be resistance. So let's make that red, guys. It's nice and red. It is the range low. It's the previous range low over here. So this is a high probability resistance, guys. If we zoom out, it looks pretty obvious. So let's see. This all lines up with the potential blow of top in the stock market, the crypto market, etc. So this is looking really good, guys. We do often see that meltdown over there. Nice move to the downside. And I do see that we could get that retest over here. This all lines up, ascending support, see a move down to that $91 zone. And of course, when the dollar is losing strength, everything priced against the dollar will be strengthening. Okay, pretty obvious. So S&P 500, we spoke about this potentially retesting this old high over here. Looks like we have got that, sold off on Thursday and Friday, of course, with the FOMC and whatnot. I said we could typically see a retest of this old all-time high at 6,160 zone over there. Yet to see that happen, but this is looking strong. If this can close above Friday's high, very bullish. Nasdaq also, let's see it close above Friday's high. Otherwise, this the 22,500 zone looking pretty good for a bounce. And this is, typically you do come and retest this old high. So let's see, guys. let's see. Otherwise, stocks are up today. You know, nothing bearish about the stocks being up. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Otherwise, Bitcoin, you know, coming into that 115K zone over there. Not much more to have a look at. Toncoin, a bit of a red day today. You know, multiple daily rejections off that 200-day EMA over here, which you can see rejection, rejection, rejection. So let's see, we could get a strong bounce off the 50-day EMA. But let's see, guys. Let's see. See a couple. We kind of covered most of these. Most of these trades. Yeah, I did take a whiff trade. Let's get into this whiff trade. I see it is there. So yeah, again, you know, we maybe jumped the gun with this one a bit. We could have waited for that golden cross, but looks like we did get a, you know, we did come for this ascending support over there. Stop is at that 73 cents. We came down to, you know, 80 odd cents. So still in this trade, of course, going to be in the red. You know, if you are looking to get into this trade, I would wait for a reclaim of the EMAs, then get long from this zone over here where we are. We waited for the reclaim over here. Of course, we've got to sell off, but that is part of the game, guys. That is all part of the game. Otherwise, market's up, looking good. I'll see you guys later this week, and we'll discuss the markets. But I do have a bullish stance at the moment. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later this week.